necessity is the mother of invention. I think poverty or desperation is its grandmother. That's just me. Wisdom from a hut slave. Yeah. Anyway. Better never. Alright. Here's my two-pronged attack of doom here. Wire extensions. While I was waiting for the thing to load back up, I did re-strip this, which is, of course, probably the single junkiest cord I've ever seen. It's already been repaired, and I'm recycling it. So it's another process, yet again, of just binding the wires. If you have a wire that's got, you know, multiple different strands on it, it's always a good thing to wind them as tightly as you can. Because I've had things fail to work because one or two tiny little strands were breaking the conductivity of the circuit. So, if anybody cares or is interested, I may do another one of these here later on, because I have been promising for a while I was going to try and build a mock-up cooling unit to put in the vents up there. Right now I have an improvised little one, but I'd have to build an entire apparatus, and I realized that I do have an 18,000 RPM motor still attached to a droid carcass. It was a weapons assembly, and it's not being used, and it's already got the wire extension attached to it. It currently has a very wicked saw blade at the end of it, but it can be changed. I can deconstruct it, take it apart. I built it, so I know how it comes apart. In any case, I'm just attaching these. Now, because these are more important as far as juncture goes, because there'll be more strain on this, I'm going to solder these wires just a little bit. And it'll be interesting. We'll take a little tour of my junk, or the reserve junk anyway, here in a little bit. Very short little bit, actually. Just crimping the wires so that they stay together, and that my seal doesn't miraculously break for no reason. I don't know why I'm using green wire. I have green and black. Alright, if you're looking, you can probably see the white cable and attached to the carcass here by my little green survival extensions. So now the time is appropriate to plug in the soldering iron and just seal this just a little bit. I really don't necessarily need to, but I want to make sure it stays put. Always quality here at Watto Junk Shop. Anyway, Watto Junk Shop repairs junk. There's a little of everything. Parts and pieces of metal, switch casings, cable ties, cord legs, and valves. since my terminal, camera, and entire setup are apparently just beyond words at this point, the triumphant end of this video was recorded with absolutely no sound. So in order for it to make sense as a conclusive whole, I'm just narrating the very end here. Although it's fairly obvious what's going on if you're paying attention. Basically, I'm just explaining here how, while I was waiting for the camera to load again, I went through and rewrapped the wire junctions where I had soldered them together. I wrapped them individually and then wrapped the entire cable again. It's to have an insulating layer. And I also put the grate back on the front of the fan. Right now you're seeing the finished cable, which it looks a little more feasible than it did before. You have to admit that. And you're seeing the whole cord here. And the front grate that I put back on with pliers. This is the moment of truth. About to plug it in. It'll either blow up or it'll work. And after all that work in such a hot room, ladies and gentlemen, we have ignition. Thanks, guys. It's just what I do.